Welcome guys to a new amazing video in which we'll see how to implement email and password authentication with Firebase into our app. So we'll make our users register an account if they don't have one with an email and password, and then we'll have that user of course in our Firebase console, and then later if they log out and then they want to log in again, they can just use the same email and the password they used to register to log in. And let's see what we are going to build. So as you can see now here in my Firebase console, I have activated authentication, and here if we go to sign in method, we see that we're using email and password, and I already have one user which has this email that is test@gmail.com. This is an account I created previously. So here's the app that we are trying to build. We have two buttons, one for registration and one for logging in. And don't worry about the UI because I don't have any fancy UI in here. I actually have a video that is specifically for creating a register and logging in user interfaces. I will leave its link in the description. Right here in this video, I'm only going to show you the functionality of actually logging in and registering. So here I have this email that I already talked about, which is test@gmail.com, and just a password. And if I try right now to log in with this email, before that you just open our logcat like this and just have this tag that I have in my app auth repository so that we can see what's going on. And as I said, I already registered an account with this email, which is test@gmail.com, which is this one. And if I want to now register again with it, I shouldn't be able to do that because it's already used. So if I click on register, I will get a failure that is this email address is already used by another account. So that's working already great. Now let's create a logcat. Let's try logging in with this email and password, and let's now enter an incorrect password like this. So this is an incorrect password. If we click on login, we should get a failure that the auth credential is incorrect, and that's great. Now let's just bring back the correct password, which is test12345, and rerun the app again so that we have this password in the app. Here it is, and now let's try logging in, and we are logged in. So login success, and of course we are logged into this account. Even if we restart the app, so just close it and then open it again, as you can see, already logged in, which means the app remembers whether I'm logged in or not and which account I'm logged into. And now we can just log out and let's try creating a new account. So let's come right here and call, for example, test2 or _2.com, and even a different password like test_2_12345. So this is now a new account. Let's rerun the app again, and we should register this account now with this brand new email, and we should have it here in a Firebase console. So click on login, and it should actually complain that this email is not registered to any account. So let's click on login, and as you can see, credentials is incorrect. And let's click on register. It should actually create an account for us. As you can see, register success, and then it logs us in with a login success. And if we go here, we refresh, here is our new email. So it's fully working. We created an account that our users can register to, can log into whenever they want with their email and password. So let's actually see how to build that. What we need first is some dependencies. So here I have an empty Android Studio project. Let's go here to our libs.versions.toml, and we need these two, which are Firebase Boom or Build of Materials and GMS Google Services. Let's just update these as well so that we have the latest versions, and then this Kotlin version. And then let's paste the libraries, which are these, and this plugin, which is this Google Services plugin. These are the libraries that you need. Sync your project, and let's go to build.gradle, the top level one. We want to add this plugin but without applying it, and then just copy it again because we need it right now in the other build.gradle, the app module one, and paste it right here. We want to increase our target SDK to the latest one. I think Android Studio should do this by default. And then we want to increase this Kotlin compiler extended version as well, so 1.5.9. After that, just add the dependencies or libraries that we have, Firebase Boom and Firebase Auth. So Firebase Auth is actually this one that we have in here. Firebase Boom is this one, and this one for the plugin that we have right here. Sync your project and you'll be good. We don't have to add anything in manifest. That's all we need, and we can already start. So let's go to our root package right here, create a new class. Let's call it usually an auth repository like this, and that's going to be a class. Of course, in your app will have some auth feature in its own package with its own data layer, with its own domain layer. You want to make sure that the password is valid, the email is valid, and all of that business logic in your domain. You also want to have this in a repository with just an abstraction so that you can test this later and all that good stuff of clean architecture. And also, if you just want to actually implement this in a solid app from the ground up to build an entire authentication feature with its all business logic and UI and data layer, and also building a whole backend so that you can just manage authentication with security techniques using tokens and so on, then I have a course that will exactly make you do that by building an industry of a solid app with its own Ktor backend from the ground up using clean architecture, dependency injection in all the industry skills. If you are interested in that, you can find its link in the description. Now, just before actually building our repository, let's go to our Firebase console and let's create a project. So go here to Firebase console, create a new project. Let's call it Firebase, maybe Auth app or something like that. Create that, disable analytics and create a project. Wait a little bit. While we are waiting, let's create our tag that we need definitely for logins. So private val tag, that is actually going to be the same as our tag or our class name. And then also just create a private val Firebase auth, that is going to be Firebase auth.get instance. So we need these two things. However, let's go back. The project is created. Here we want to choose Android. Since we have an Android project, we want to add our application ID or package name. Let's go to our build.gradle, copy it and paste it right here. We will actually need this. It's HA1 certificate, but we'll do that later. Just now create the project or the Android project. We won't download this file yet because we still need to set up some things first. Now we are here. Let's go to our project settings and right here, let's add a fingerprint. So go to Gradle right here, tasks, Android and sign in report. You will get it. And here it is. Just copy it. So this one and then paste it. Save and you're good. That's it. Now you have it. Now let's go to build authentication and let's enable authentication in our app or in our project. We have a lot of providers and now we'll actually do email and password. If you want me to do all the things like Apple, Facebook or anything like that, just let me know, or even phone number, that would be good. Now we want email and password, enable that. We don't want email link, which is passwordless. We want actually a password full authentication. So here we are and we are good. Now that you activated authentication, let's go to our project settings again and download this Google Services JSON file. Click on download and then it should be downloaded to your computer. Let's copy it and then open the project view right here, app, and paste it in app. Here it is. And of course, do not push this to Git. It should be just right here in your project. Anyway, we have it now. And we can start building our repository. So the first thing is we want to check if a user is already logged in or not using a function that is called is logged in. And that returns, of course, a boolean. And simply, actually, this instance of Firebase auth will handle everything for us. So we don't have to do anything. Everything is inside this one. So it's going to be if Firebase auth.current user is not null, then we are actually logged in. And then we can return true, that we are logged in. And if we are not, we can return false. And we can definitely just print this. So println tag plus and then already logged in. So this is how we check if we are logged in. Really simple. Next thing is actually registering an account. So a suspend fun register that definitely needs an email of type string and a password of type string as well. This one returns again a boolean. Definitely in your app you will have some sort of result wrapper that gives you a result, whether it's a success or an error, and if it's an error, what type of error you get, so that you can map that to a certain presentation string, whether it's an incorrect password or email already used or anything like that. So in my case, I'm just using boolean because it's just for demonstration purposes. That will be depending on your app, so it won't be the same as me. Anyway, we want to return a boolean whether we did register or not. However, everything needs to be inside a try catch. If we have any exception, of course, the exception is going to be exception like this, and then we want to print the exception itself. So e.print stack trace, and then we want to check if this exception is a cancellation exception to rethrow it, because otherwise the cancellation won't actually happen properly, and that's just something we need to do with coroutines. So if e is cancellation exception, since actually we deal with coroutines, that we have here suspend function. Where is it? So right here. So if it is a cancellation exception, then throw it, just rethrow it. And then we want to print in what's exactly going on. So tag, it's for example register exception, and then we add the message, so e.message, and then we return of course false, that we couldn't register. Now let's try actually registering right inside here. What we want to do is we want to try creating an account for this user, and then if we successfully created it, then we want to return true. If not, we want to return false. So we need a result in the end, so it's going to be val result. That is going to be something. Since actually this Firebase auth is going to be giving me two lambda functions that I technically can't return true or false from them, I'm going to need to use a suspend coroutine for that. I don't have to define the type. However, right here I get a continuation. Don't worry about this error, but in the end I need to return my result. So return result, and now inside here I want to use my Firebase auth.create user with email and password, passing of course the email and the password, and then dot add success listener, and then dot add failure listener, so whether I'm successfully registered or not. So on success I'm logged in. I'm going to first of all print that, so tag plus let's say register success, and here register failure, since that was a failure, so failure like this. And then what I want to do here is to actually return false using my continuation dot resume false, and this means that I will resume the execution of my task. So I suspended everything from here. Once I call this function, I will resume to continue returning my result that is now false, because this is the value I give to my results. And I won't actually resume here with a true yet until I log in, because right from here I want to actually log in, because I just registered the user but they are not logged in. I don't want to actually register them and then tell them to log in. That's it, they registered, I just log them in directly. So to do that we need another function, that is suspend fun login, that again takes an email and a password like this of type string, returns a boolean, and then I want to call that function right here, but I just can't call it directly passing my email and password because it's a suspend function, and this on success listener is not a suspend function. So I just need to have some sort of a coroutine scope, and then using dispatchers.io launch that, actually import dispatchers and also import launch, and then put it inside here. So I just launched this inside an IO dispatcher coroutine scope, and then I execute that inside it simply. Now let's go here and let's try to log in our user. Well, it's going to be almost the same thing, so there is a lot that I want to copy to just save some time. So actually I'm going to copy everything. I'm going to paste it. I'm actually just going to delete what I have inside here, since it's going to be different, but the rest is going to be the same. However, here I'm going to say a login exception with the message, and then right here I'm going to write Firebase auth.sign-in with email and password. Of course we get a lot of other stuff. In this case we want email and password, passing my email and my password, and then again dot add success listener dot add failure listener. I'm just going to actually again copy some of the stuff like this, which means that was a failure here, login failure, and then the other one is actually login success. In this case I really don't want to do anything. That's it, they are logged in. I'm just going to use my continuation dot resume my execution of tasks, and then with a true that I am actually logged in, and that's it. Now I called it, which means this will be actually what I resume with. So for that I need to use my continuation again dot resume, calling my login like this, because eventually that will return a true or false. And now I am actually logged in, and here I am registered. Now I also want to log out, which means I need another function for that, fun log out, that is as simple as Firebase auth.signout. That's it, as simple as that. And here is the repository. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, everything is clear. There's no complexity, honestly, when it comes to authentication with Firebase. Now we just need to create the UI. So let's go to our main activity, delete this greeting composable, and delete everything as well here. We don't need any of this. Let's create our email and password. So private val email of type, actually not of type string, let's just say test@gmail.com, and then just a password. So like this. let's say test 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then let's go ahead, let's create some UI. But first of all, let's create an instance of our repository. So var auth repository is going to be our auth repository, like this. Definitely you want to have this inside your view model, and you want to use some sort of dependency injection library like Queen or Dagger here to inject this to your view model. That's not our topic. If you want to know how to do that, then I have a course that will make you actually learn to do all of this complex stuff of authentication, handling users, and all of that stuff in my course. You can find its link in the description. Now let's just do it simple. So first of all, I need to know whether I'm logged in or not to actually whether show the screen in which I tell the user to register or log in, or the screen in which I tell them to log out. So var, or probably var, is logged in. That is going to be remember. Let's use actually remember savable to also have this after configuration changes. So remember savable, I don't need all of this. Right here it's going to be mutable state of auth repository dot is logged in. So if I am logged in, this will be true, otherwise it will be false, and based on that I'm going to show something. So if is logged in, I'm going to show something else. So if I'm logged in, then I'm going to tell them to log in or register, and for that I want to have everything inside a column. So right from here, column that takes a modifier dot fill max size, and then the vertical arrangement is going to be vertical arrangement dot center. Horizontal alignment could be alignment dot center horizontally. Import that, and let's just put this inside it. So if I am logged in, let's actually start with this. It's going to be an outlined button. When I click on it, I want to log out. So I'm going to write, oops, I don't know what just happened. So auth repository dot log out, and this text is going to be log out, of course. So this button will just make me log out. Let's give this actually a background. So background material theme dot color scheme dot background, and then actually it's going to be by savable import again. So here I'm going to copy this button, paste it again. Let's put a little spacer between them. So spacer height, let's go for 50.dp. So this is now where I am not logged in, and the first one is going to be for registration. So register, and here register, passing an email and password, which are of course my email and password. Since it's suspend infection, I will use lifecycle scope dot launch to have it inside a coroutine scope, and then it's going to be the same for the second one, in which now I actually log in, and this one is log in. So that's it. It's really simple. So if I am not logged in, or if I am logged in, then I want to log out with this button. If I am not logged in, then I want to either register with this button or log in with this button. That is said, all of that is handled inside my auth repository. Now I need to update my state. So after logging out, I need to update my state, this one. So after logging out, I'm going to write is logged in now is actually false. And to know whether I'm logged in or not, or I'm successfully registered or not, I'm going to say is again logged in is equal to whatever I get from my function in here, and it's going to be the same right here, because remember these also return boolean. You can see register returns a boolean, so after registering I call login, that also returns a boolean, and if everything or anything goes wrong, then I return a boolean right from here. This state will tell me whether I'm logged in or not. I can definitely have some sort of a toast if I want that shows me anything, but I already have logs in here that I can just now print. So just copy auth repository, have it right here in your logcat, and then have your emulator, and let's run the app. Remember that we set everything we need in our Firebase, and here I don't have any users at all. Let's just run the app. Here is our emulator, and here are the two buttons. Of course, I'm not logged in. Now, if I try to click on login, that shouldn't work since I don't have an account, and hopefully that works and the app doesn't crash. Okay, click on login failure, and that's exactly what I want. Let me just actually bring this here, but I don't print why exactly the failure happens, which means I have a problem here. It.message, yes. I just need to print the message exactly when I actually have a failure. So here and also right here. Now just rerun the app, because I didn't actually see why exactly that was a failure. I know it's because I don't have that email registered, but I need to see it. So here again, click login failure, credential is incorrect, which is exactly what I need. So for that, let's click on register and register success, login success, which means everything is fine. Come back to our console, refresh, and here is our user registered, which is amazing. Now let's actually just restart the app, close it like this, and then clear the logcat, run it again. Already logged in, which means everything is fine. Now let's just log out. I'm logged out. If I want to register again, I shouldn't be able to do so because I already have that email already used for another account. So click on register. As you can see, email is already used by another account, which means I can now log in. And I am logged in and everything is great. Now log out, let's just change the email to another one. So test, let's say test new, and password could also be test new like this. Run the app again. Here's the app. If I try to log in, I shouldn't be able to do so because I don't have that account registered. And yes, credential is incorrect. If I click on register, I should be able to do so. Register success, login success. Let's go here, refresh. Here is test new. Now what I'm going to do is log out, also just close the app, and now I want to log in with this email but with an incorrect password, like test good, whatever. So an incorrect password simply. Now let's actually do that and try logging in. I shouldn't be able to do so, as you can see, until I have an incorrect password. A correct password. One thing is, let's actually try to enter an invalid password for a new account. So test good. Now this is a new one, but the password is too short, like T1, which is not a very strong password. Now just run the app and let's try registering, which shouldn't work, that the password is not strong. So register and a failure. As you can see, password has to have at least 6 characters, which means everything is handled with Firebase and everything is working just great. And just like that, we implemented Firebase authentication with email and password into our app, and it's fully working, registering accounts, logging in, logging out. If you want to build an even more complex authentication from the ground up where you handle everything and even building a Ktor backend, then you can find my course link in the description that will make you exactly do that by building an industry level app with a lot of features, with clean architecture and all the industry skills. If you want to support me to make more videos like this, subscribe and leave a like. See you in the next video. Bye.